last night. The Nationals showed why they have the biggest bats in baseball. They lived up to the billing, but tonight the Pirates with a chance at payback. Nationals and Pirates here from PNC Park here in Pittsburgh. And welcome to the booth. Joe Block and Steve Blass with you here this evening. And the Pirates who are going to have a formidable challenge. We know the Nats bats are very good, but tonight they get to show off their ace in Garrett Cole.
Absolutely. Who else would you want out there, Joe? Garrett Cole has been absolutely terrific. The first start a little shaky against the Boston Red Sox, but he has been on a roll. His last 6 starts have been 2 runs or less. His control, you take a look at the walks, just 1.8 walks per 9 innings. I think that's a big factor for him. He's throwing the ball pretty much where he wants to now with the usual power. I think he's continuing to evolve in a pitcher that doesn't always lean on the fastball. He's trusting his off-speed stuff, a little change in speeds, and I think that's helped him a lot. I don't think he's all preoccupied about the fact that they're not scoring for him. He's got a job to do. I think he's been around long enough and a professional to know all about that.
And will they score enough runs for him tonight? They will face Jacob Turner.
Yeah, Jacob Turner, not to be taken lightly. This guy was a first-round choice a lot of years ago. He's bounced around. He's had more than 50 major league starts, so they like him, and they feel like he can fill into their rotation, and who wouldn't want to pitch in front of these bats?
Oh, indeed, and for the Nationals, they will not be facing one of the Pirates' best bats as we take a look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Gregory Polanco placed on the 10-day disabled list today. He's already served a couple of those days. A left hamstring strain will keep him out for the next 7 or 8 days or so. And for the Nationals, they win the opener. Can the Pirates even the series? They will send Garrett Cole to the mound against Washington. Pirates, Nationals coming up next right here on Root Sports. Cole, 5 straight quality starts for him. He'll get the nod tonight for the Buccos as they look to try to make this series even against the Washington Nationals here tonight. Dusty Baker's outfit. He's got the lineup penned in for tonight. The speedy Trey Turner atop that order. Jason Worth with a hot bat as well. Bryce Harper and Ryan Zimmerman both with 13 home runs, hitting over 380 apiece. Daniel Murphy back in the lineup. Anthony Rendon also a good hitter. Brian Goodwin in there in center tonight. Jose Lobaton and then Jacob Turner.
And a couple of things about Garrett Cole as you're going to take a look at his overall numbers. Joe, he's got the kind of personality that gets amped up with these kind of challenges against good hitters. He likes it. That's the good news. The other news is he's got to control that extra little jump or adrenaline, however you want to describe it, and keep that under control. I call it controlled aggression. And if he does that, he's going to be the Garrett Cole we usually see.
Yeah, he's been awfully good lately. Really just that one inning in that first start against the Red Sox. Yeah, that final inning that he pitched.
The last 6, 2 runs or less.
Trey Turner came on the scene last year and really opened some eyes. Former first-round pick, and we talk about it a lot with the leadoff man, a guy you like to keep off because of that speed. Turner very fast. And behind 3-1.
The good news in terms of working against a team that likes to run a lot is that it's not the Washington Nationals. They don't have to run. They don't have to take that risk as often as other teams do because they hit so many balls that work out well for them.
John Jaso takes care of that one. And that's how we start here tonight. And the Honda defense tonight for the Buccos. Gifton Gope will man second base. Jordy Mercer, his double play partner. Freese and Bell on the corners. Frazier, McCutchen, and Jaso in the outfield. And Francisco Cervelli doing the catching tonight. Gregory Polanco placed on the 10-day DL today, so he'll be out at least another 8 days.
Everybody in Major League Baseball eventually this year will be on that 10-day list.
No question.
It's very usable.
And the Pirates calling up Danny Ortiz today, who has appeared in a game but has not yet batted.
Saw him in Miami, didn't we?
Yeah, true outfielder. Play all 3 outfield spots.
Breaking ball in for a strike. You would probably like to keep it a little lower than that. Home runs have been an issue. If there's anything that you're not crazy about, is that he's given up 7 home runs in his first 8 starts. Other than that, it's a squeaky clean resume. We were talking in the open too, Joe, about the fact that many people might say, well, is it bothering Garrett Cole that nobody's scoring any runs for him? No, he's beyond that. He knows what that is, and he knows what that's all about. He's a professional. He has a job to do. That's his job. His job is not to score runs for the Pittsburgh Pirates. His job is right here.
Now 1-2 on Jason Worth.
So that's not a real concern. He's beyond that. Although when you wake up in the morning after several starts, come on, guys, you can do a little something. But well, he's out there. Well, he's doing this. That's not even an issue. We saw Worth taking some of those kind of swings. This is a power guy, but he reached out a little bit last night, poked the ball the other way, and gave up the big power swing.
We just saw the umpiring crew with Bryce Harper due to follow. The 6'7" Jordan Baker manning the plate tonight. Tallest umpire in baseball.
How does he call low pitches?
That's something to look for tonight. Lowly hit. Freese takes care of that one. And Steve, what do you got for our Rivers Casino tips to win?
I think it's pretty obvious with our tips to win tonight. It's Garrett Cole versus everybody, not just Bryce Harper and Ryan Zimmerman. This is a top to bottom lineup that you have to deal with. You can't relax at all anywhere. And to have that good pitching, make all the plays defensively. You need good defense. They're going to put the ball in play. Make the plays that you're supposed to. They don't have to be spectacular, but you need that when you're not scoring a lot and the other team does score a lot. Tighten up the strings on the defense.
Yeah, we just saw Jaso. He made a couple extraordinary plays last night. Also had one where it deflected off the sidewall and he allowed an extra base because of it. So we talked a lot about the defense early in the season, but it has not been as much in the conversation lately.
That's good. What is good is that 97-mile-an-hour fastball. What was really impressive last night was Bryce Harper. That is one of the most impressive home runs I've seen hit because it was a line drive. That was a vapor trail that wasn't big and majestic. It just got there in a second against that back fence.
Could it have crossed the Allegheny? It didn't.
It would have got in
fence.
And that's getting all of it. I tell you, I would have been so proud to throw that. It almost broke the fence. You could hear the fence rattling around. That's as impressive as it gets in my book. And I threw them to Henry Aaron and Willie Mays and all those guys, Willie McCovey.
I think Stargell was a teammate.
Yep.
No one wanted to face him.
So far in the first inning, Garrett doesn't seem to be getting ahead of himself, body-wise, mechanic-wise. So
just getting ahead of
yeah,
hitters.
that's being amped up seems to be under control. Now he's not done with Mr. Harper.
He was getting on base more than half the time this season.
Yeah, took something off. Nice start against a real good hitting team.
1, 2, 3 inning to start, and the Bucks bats coming up. Off for the Buccos as they come to bat here in the bottom of the first. And the RAV4 lineup for Clint Hurdle's Pirates tonight. Frazier, who has been very good since being activated, 375 in those 4 games. John Jason moves up to the 2 spot. McCutcheon batting third as always. David Freese at third. Josh Bell at first, and then Cervelli batting sixth. Mercer and Gope and Cole rounding out the order.
Against 25-year-old Jacob Turner. His numbers, 6 of those appearances out of the bullpen. Obviously, he started a game back in April and pitched well against the Rockies.
Former 9th overall pick of the Detroit Tigers back in 2009.
Has bounced around since. Talking to some of the Washington folks, they like him. They like his chances of being a part of this rotation. Disappointing times for Joe Ross right now.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be good. He might still. But right now it's Turner and company, and he retires Frazier to start things. The defense for the Nationals tonight: Daniel Murphy back in the lineup. Trey Turner over at short beside him. Rendon and Zimmerman in the corners with Worth, Goodwin, and Harper in the outfield. Jose Lobaton doing the catching, and Goodwin late insertion to the lineup for Michael Taylor.
I'm a little concerned about their batting order, where you got a Turner at the top and a Turner at the bottom. Exotic stuff. You ever seen 2 Turners in the batting order, top bookending?
Wow,
it's dangerous stuff. I'll tell you that. I've seen it.
I've seen Turner and Hooch, but not Turner and Turner. Hard hit right at Zimmerman.
What a pick.
That's kind of been the story of the next guy, right? A lot of hard hit balls, but not finding a lot of spots.
baseball is tattooed. Ryan got it on the short hop. After that, it was easy. Well, good play on the corners from both sides so far. Freeze with a nice pick in the top of the first, and a good pick by Zimmerman there. That was heading down into double land.
He was always a good handsy third baseman. The throwing was what got him out of there. Now McCutchen, and alluding to, the hard hit balls. And would you agree that, I mean, you look at the batting average and you go, he's really struggling, but I haven't felt that way. Now he deserves one of those.
It just kept running away from the Washington shortstop. And Trey Turner just couldn't catch up to it. It just had enough carry. Andrew didn't get a lot of this, but just enough to get out of the reach of one of those Turners. You couldn't turn that into the third out.
Look at our Allegheny Health Network Supermo. And some smart hitting right there. And McCutchen deserves that. He lined out hard twice yesterday. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about his batting average, but I think it easily could be, I mean, middling, what, 250, 260? It was coming in at, what, 206. It's not like he's swinging it great, but that's better than that number showed, in my opinion. You seeing the same thing from Coach?
Yeah, I mean, he's hit the ball hard enough to be up more than he is.
That's what made that kind of funny. Finally gets one of those to fall.
I've never understood the smart hitting when you get sawed off on the handle of the bat. How is that smart?
Seemed like that's the kind of hits that Chris Stewart would get, those little flares or balls just out of the reach of the infield, fall in front of the outfield.
Smart hitting. I think
hit it where they ain't.
I think Harper is hits him smart.
Well, he's an Einstein.
Yeah, when you catch a gap, smart. Anything that lands on the grass out in the outfield is smart hitting. Hitting's tough.
2-out single for McCutchen. David Freese in the cleanup role with Polanco put on the DL today. And Turner should have had that one.
Yeah.
That'll be an error. The Pirates are trying to put something together here with 2 outs.
He did everything right except keep the ball in the glove.
He got a little bit of a bad hop right there. Came up right at the last moment, just a bit. Turner in his first full season out of North Carolina State. Now 2 on for Josh Bell.
You look at Josh and you look at his home run numbers, very good, 7 home runs. Turner gave up a home run in that start he had his first appearance in April against the Colorado Rockies. He pitched well, but in the 6th inning they hit a 3-run home run. That's the only 3 runs he gave up. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 6. So I don't know why with that impressive start back to the bullpen. He waited his turn and here it is. So they probably remember that when they needed another starter. Ross was sent down, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so enter Jacob Turner.
He was still throwing like he used to when he was first coming up, mid-90s.
He has bounced around 12 major league wins, 37 losses after being drafted in the first round. So those kind of first rounders get lots of chances.
When I saw that he was starting today, I was thinking, well, what's he, about 30, 31? He's 25 years old.
He's going to be 26 in 4 days. But yeah, after being drafted by Detroit, then was with Miami, the Cubs, the White Sox. And here he is with an opportunity to be out in front of a real good baseball team.
The old rule where a draft pick could sign a major league contract. That may have been working against him early in his career. There's Bell's numbers for men in scoring position. Baker thought that's a bit high. Garrett Cole would love to have some early runs.
Yeah, like right now.
The runs support for Garrett Cole has been minimal this year. Called out on strikes. Well, the Pirates had something going with a hit and an error, but they strand two and we're through one with no score. Here at PNC Park, beautiful night for baseball. As they get settled in, great night for just about anything.
Yeah, fun on the river.
Yeah, it's about that time of year. Start getting outside a little bit. Hey, we're talking about this. Our Barrel Automotive league leaders for tonight. Lowest run support, and Garrett Cole is the lowest. You look, see Nova's high on the list you don't want to be on as much. You talk about wins and losses. You know, Cole at 1-4. That is the most misleading 1-4 you'll ever see.
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting less than 2 runs a game, that tightens the screws a little bit. Yeah, you don't want 2 of your prime starters on that list. You don't want any of your starters on that list.
Nova's been able to get 3 wins in his 8 starts. Cole just the 1. Here's Nova.
Garrett Cole showing a nice off-speed pitch to Bryce Harper to get a little routine ground ball out 4-3.
And one advantage of that, you get to face Zimmerman with the bases empty. And you faced Harper with the bases empty.
And what you want to do is face all the Washington Nationals with the bases empty all night long.
I like the strategy. And then if he does that tonight, you can say, I told him to do that.
Yeah.
That'll be a tough chore. The Nationals coming in the most runs per game. There's Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, they whine and cry, or everybody, we do too, about their bullpen. But when you score 9 runs a night, it takes the heat off the
You're not exaggerating by much.
Yeah. I mean,
Dusty Baker's outfit has been very potent. They've been as good as his hair is long. But when you got Garrett Cole on the mound, sometimes you can make the extraordinary look ordinary.
Yeah, and what he's done early on is he's showing that real good fastball, but then he's gotten the outs on off-speed pitches. That was 80 miles an hour, and had Zimmerman out in front. It takes all the juice and power out of the swing, and even if he hits it, he's got to kind of hit it with his hands. And many times he's going to be out in front like that, routine ground ball.
Cole got the first 4 men. Train starting to roll. Daniel Murphy got a routine day off yesterday out of Jacksonville University.
Nice little breaking ball to start things off.
317, picking up where he left off last year, an MVP candidate.
You know, this brings back memories of pitching against the Big Red Machine.
Great comparison.
That I'll tell you, that was no fun because there was no let up in that group when it started off with Rose and Bench and Perez and Lee May and Concepcion and that whole group. No wiggle room.
Tony Perez, Morgan, just name them all. And the Washington Nationals, this is their version of the Big Red Machine.
This is there's nothing like this, I don't think, in the major leagues right now. Nothing close to this.
They're averaging more than 6 runs a game. Yeah. That's an average night for them.
I think Dusty gets a good feeling when he gets in the car to come to the ballpark.
I mean, you got to score 7 to beat them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 6 to work with tonight.
Now the difference is, we've seen Garrett Cole go up against some really tough offenses. This is the best of them all so far this young season, but he's been able to handle some really tough nines.
Yeah. Well, he's an elite pitcher. When he's right, when he's full bore, full healthy, this guy's very good. And they saw that when he was at college.
A lot of folks making the drive over. Nice easy drive in from the district.
About 4.5 hours.
Made it last year, right after that 18-inning game. That was a fun series.
That was a great baseball game. 18 innings.
2-1 win. Anthony Rendon.
And Chad Kuhl started that game. 6 scoreless innings, 1 hit, no walks.
He only pitched a third of the game.
Murphy tied it up off Melanson with a home run. Then Marte finished it off with a home run at the top of the 18th.
Yeah. And yeah, the Pirates were a strike away from winning. And Murphy hit that home run.
And then after that, it was 2 hours away from winning.
Pull at 96 there. Here's Chad Kuhl.
Tough night last night for the young right-hander.
I said he didn't feel good coming out of the bullpen, but felt very loose in terms of why he saw that velocity spike. I mean, he hit 100 miles an hour one pitch last night, but ineffective. Where was it going? That was the problem for him yesterday. Steven Strasburg, his typical self.
Got the win. Not happy to leave the ball game, but got the win.
And there's the first base runner for the Nats. If you can remember way back to 2016. And in that 18-inning affair, Starling Marte with the home run. The Pirates up for good.
There's our star of the game right there. Throughout the game, that young man was featured. Starling, you got the home run, but the kid got all the face time.
Our little buddy Nick Golnowski, Jay and Annie, his parents. Emma, his little sister, was there too. Jay grew up in Pittsburgh, so they're all Pirate fans that live out in Maryland. He was like that the whole game.
Yeah.
4 years old, and
I
stayed
said
there for 6 hours.
several times. I said, I'll have what he's having.
They kind of had to wake him up a little bit right at the end there. Hey, look what's happening. What? Oh. Goodwin skies this one. And Cole getting a lot of weak contact against this very tough Nats lineup. Pirates look to get him a run here in the second. Francisco Cervelli will lead it off for the Pirates. Mercer and then Ngope to follow here. We get the Pirates' second inning. Jose Lobaton and Francisco Cervelli, both natives of Venezuela, talking with each other before the game.
Both very concerned about their native country.
We've seen players throughout baseball and now other sports too, trying to raise awareness for the political unrest that is going on right now in that country. And we've seen a lot of tweets from Cervelli, comments. Some of the reporters have done stories for all the Venezuelan-born players. In fact, the Pirates coaches and players from Venezuela taking a photo that Cervelli is kind of taking charge. He has probably the biggest following, at least among the Pirates, to try to raise awareness to the plight of that country right now. And it's Rivera was talking in the Post-Gazette the other day about how he has not been able to go home in 3 years. He cannot see his wife, daughter, parents. So if you see players with something written on their hat, sometimes you see the eye black patches with something. That's what that's about. Jose Osuna, also a native of Venezuela. Lobaton and trying to use their platform to talk about the issues in their homeland.
So I think Garrett Cole was squeezed a little bit on the free pass he gave, and I think Mr. Turner was squeezed right there on that at bat. So we're even. See, that's the thing. You don't need to change the rules. Things even out. It's baseball. There's so many games, so many pitches. So that's pretty much a pattern that was similar to the pattern that Cole put up on his free pass issued in the top of the inning. But we'll take it.
Yeah, those third and fifth pitches were called balls that appeared to nip the zone. Jordy Mercer. Couple of home runs for him, hitting at 206. That average is a little low for what it looks like he's been doing so far. Out to Goodwin. And that's the first out. And we're getting to the point of the season now. Tonight is game number 40. So we're roughly a quarter of the way through the season. You start to make some evaluations, right? You see some trends.
Yeah, I'm not particularly liking what I'm seeing, to be quite honest. At 16 and 23, trying to hold the fort with pitching, and that's a hard thing to do the whole season. And, it just can't be done. You've got to get some offensive support and win some games 7-5, 6-4, 8-2. You can't win every one of them 3-1, 2-1.
The Pirates have dropped their share of those low-scoring games too. Garrett Cole can attest to that.
Yeah, and that's simply wasting good pitching. You don't want to do that. And you're going through a stretch where you've lost a lot of personnel through one thing or another. Not all physical.
There's a base hit for Ngope. And Cervelli moving to second. Well, the Pirates have had multiple base runners on in both innings against Turner.
Yep.
And fans of Ngope, the South African flag.
Able to turn on that ball inside and push it into fair territory. Sometimes you can just turn that ball around and rip it foul down the left field line.
I was talking with Ngope the other day and asked him about, can he feel like he can handle the heat, you know, the upper 90s fastball, because he swung through a couple in his last couple of games in Arizona, and he said, yeah, he was very confident. He said, I just happened to not see those, but the next time I won't miss it. And this was that next time.
See if Garrett can perhaps push these guys over to second and third. Assuming that's the plan, to bunt it down the third baseline.
Has one sacrifice this year.
It almost looked like it was angled toward first. I mean, you want to just force the third baseman to make the play, and then it's an easy stroll over to second and third.
Yeah, no one can cover third. There's the alignment right there. Third baseman comes in.
Yep. No indication of a wheel play there where the shortstop heads over to third.
Well, we rave about when you know, a pitcher gets a hit. You know, oh, they can rake, you know, that kind of thing. But we don't really comment when they get the bunt down. But that can be just as important, if not more important, considering the situation.
We're all brought up to say if you can't say something nice about somebody, don't say anything. They should, a high percentage of the time, put the bunt down. Should be able to do that as a major league pitcher. Mixed signals. Mixed signals.
Running with 2 strikes and in the air, everyone gets back. So that is the second out. Pirates home all week, and Sunday is a kids' day here at PNC Park. The Bucks taking on the Phillies at 1:35. You can enjoy fun and games before, during, and after the game. All kids 14 and younger taking home a Pirates baseball glove. Thanks to Highmark. Head to pirates.com/kidsdays and get your tickets. Always fun. They can run around the bases too. Adam Frazier rolled out his first time. Trying to get one across for Garrett Cole. Could not move the runners over.
That will frustrate Garrett Cole as much as anything, not being able to push those guys over to second and third. And to be quite honest, it's an issue. If you're an established major league pitcher, it's an issue that you carry into that dugout. I didn't get my job done, and you got to make sure you can let it go before you go back out onto the mound. Sometimes it's tough to let it go. You're frustrated, you're angry at yourself, but you can't do anything about it now. It's gone, it's done.
Now these guys work at it quite a bit. Pitchers will take batting practice pretty much every day they're not pitching.
Right, and the whole issue is taking the batting practice, taking the bunting practice, and work at it, not just go through the motions. And that happens a lot. I'm not just saying the Pittsburgh Pirates. You've got to take it very seriously if you want to be good in it, good at it.
Chance here with 2 on and 2 out. Frazier getting a second strike on him. That has not deterred him throughout his career. In his brief career so far, he's a .318 hitter once he's got 2 strikes out.
It's a great quality to have, be able to get it done when you're got your back up against the wall.
Yeah, the major league average is about half that. This time, though, Turner wins the battle. Pirates threaten but do not score. They've stranded 4 through 2.
Gope was already busy here tonight, but actually busy this afternoon. So was Jose Osuna. Earlier today, Jose Osuna gifting Gope and Johnny Barbado, all making a visit to Shaler Area Middle School to visit some very special 7th and 8th graders who were responsible for submitting the most breaking barrier essays in our region. More than 200 essays were submitted, giving students an opportunity to share their own stories on how they use Jackie Robinson's values today to face their own challenges or barriers as we speak. So there's a look at Barbado in the bullpen. Nice for them to spend their afternoon with some children who took a moment to write some special essays, guys. You
know how great it is to have a major league ball player or ball players come to your school and see them in person. It is fabulous. I can only imagine being like 10 years old, 12 years old, and being recognized for doing something nice, but just to see them in person, that's got to be a treat.
Thanks for that report, Dan. And yeah, I mean, and you think about too what the theme of the visit was. You get a player that is from Miami, Florida in the United States, another one that grew up in Venezuela, another one grew up in South Africa, and you have 3 continents represented there. Kind of the whole theme of what they were writing about. Lobaton, Nationals catcher, leading things off. 8-9-1 due up here in the 3rd.
Well, if there is a little wiggle room, it's at the bottom 3rd of the Washington Nationals batting order with Goodwin, Lobaton, and Turner. Not to take anything away from their abilities, they are in the big leagues, but they're overshadowed by the mashers up above.
Yeah, we said the same thing last night, and it was the right thing to say. But the number 8 hitter Defoe hit a 2-run home run. Yeah. Strasburg had a single. Well, Turner hitting under 100 in his career on deck.
And you don't want him up there bunting.
Lobaton last year 279. That was way higher than normal for him. Usually about in the 230s.
In on the hands there.
Native of Carigua in the Portuguesa, Venezuela. Grew up in Miranda, though.
He's a shifty kind of guy. They're playing the shift defensively. And this is all based on information and statistics and previous experience. It just seems difficult for me to feel like he's going to pull the Cole fastball. But maybe that's.
Yeah, he didn't. Just flared it out there. They hit it where they ain't. I don't care how you set it up. That's going to fall in. Unless you got that center fielder very shallow.
Now, what percentage did that have of being a base hit?
Well, I'll have to wait here. Take a look.
Might as well start the dance. Good pitch. And he just looped it into center field.
Right in that Bermuda Triangle of Pirates.
And now the dance begins with Turner trying to bunt his man over. Takes a strike. Is that StatCast, Joe?
I'm waiting for it to come up.
Is that what it is? StatCast?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. 34% chance of it.
Then why did it fall in?
Well, if you hit that ball, you know, I think it would fall in a lot, right? Unless you got a center fielder
more than 34%.
Very shallow, right? They base it off of launch angle and exit.
That's what I figured. That's why it's so bizarre. 34% chance.
It's a rudimentary.
I don't understand what you mean by rudimentary.
Okay, it's very young in the process.
Okay.
Still crude.
34%.
You understand crude, right?
Oh, do I ever? 34% chance of succeeding. I haven't been base hit, but it fell in.
34% of the time, it works every time. That's what it says.
So I could say a weather forecaster is 78% right 13% of the time.
Something like that. See if we can get it down with 2 strikes. Instead, swinging.
Another
look at Ngope.
There we go.
Moving from his spot and easily making that play. Very good anticipation. Now look at where he's at.
Oh, usually I'm glad we saw that, because I was thinking, was he over close to first in case they bunt and the first baseman has to make the play? That was not the case. So in a situation where you're guaranteed he's not going to bunt, you don't have to cheat over that way as much.
Tremendous instincts. Now Trey Turner. The thing about Ngope too, we talk about the hitting, and the glove's very good. He's had parts of 9 seasons in the minor leagues now, so he's had a lot of time to perfect the glove too. It's just the hitting hasn't come along as well.
Well, they talk about repetition in defense. So yeah, he's handled a lot of ground balls, a lot of pop flies over in that area. The more you do it, the more accomplished you become.
And with his hit tonight, hitting .243, Ngope. Turner lined out his first time. Tough to double up.
Tough to catch up with that kind of heat right there.
Hot night.
It is instant summer. It's like 90 degrees today.
I think in some areas it did hit
close to a record, if not.
It's 84 right now here.
Yeah, and we're looking at 84 lumber.
Yes. Yeah, he got it. Changeup gets Turner for the first strikeout of the night.
Right on the corner. You throw the ball to the glove, you got a chance to get the call. You can be 2-3 inches outside. Sometimes you hit the glove, you get a call.
That's the second out in front of Jason Worth.
Three inches outside, you can get that call, especially if your last name is Glavine. Tom Glavine used to get a lot of that action.
Yeah, these days though, WB Mason strike zone, umpires evaluated on that. They get a report card.
Don't we all in the big picture? Another pick by David Freese. Wow. Second one. Both against Worth. Rockets.
Very nicely done by Freese. And that leadoff single stuck right there for Washington.
Olay.
in Pittsburgh tonight. And David Freese, a very nice play again, this time to end the inning. He is due up to bat third here in the Pirates' third.
Against the 25-year-old right-hander. Yeah, that was a good one.
Had him all the way.
You know, that's that kind of bullet that you hope you've got the glove in the right spot. And sometimes you see, okay, I got one shot, and they're kind of almost, they don't close their eyes, but boy, I hope I have that glove in the right spot because I don't have time to adjust it. That ball is hit like a bullet. Really great reaction play. Hot hands at the hot corner. Love what? Watch. Gonna keep the body out of the way, and yeah, I had it in the right spot. And gives the old ole, and after that it's easy. Great pick.
Well, don't they say, right, third baseman, you try to get in front of the ball, but if you don't have time,
yeah,
that's your best effort, right?
Yep, absolutely. Even when they've got the shift on now, and you know, if you hit it hard enough, 2 feet away from the shift, even though they've shifted perfectly, there's not much time if you get the good part of the bat on the ball. Second free pass by Mr. Turner, who is 6'2", 225 pounds, out of St. Charles, Missouri. It's not too far from St. Louis.
Right, a suburb, yeah.
Right there, yeah. Parts of 4 major league seasons plus, as we said, Miami, Cubs, White Sox.
Andrew McCutchen, last time a 2-out single, just out of the reach of the shortstop, falling in.
You know, Joe, you talked about quarter of a way through the season, and it gets harder to bump your batting average up now. Kutch came in 206, he got a base hit, he's 211. You know, the at bats mount up, and so there's a difficulty in raising the average.
And it helps when he hits the ball hard, and he's really been doing that. You know, coming into tonight, the last 16 games, he's hitting 131, and you go, well, wow, he's really struggling. I wanted to look at it and make sure. I didn't think we've been seeing that. He struck out 12 times in 67 plate appearances. That's not, for these days, a lot. And that'll be one.
Nice play by Rendon. It wasn't the most comfortable bounce to him, so he had to give a little bit of ground. That takes time. You incorporate that with 2 long throws from third to second, and second to first. It's not like the short to second or second to short. That's 2 long throws. Yeah, Murphy had to really, that was awkward because the feed was on the outfield side of second base, and he made it as close as he could.
Now David Freese. Good for the game's first run. We're in the third. And that's tailor-made.
Playing catch.
That leadoff walk quickly evaporates. And we're scoreless through 3 innings tonight.
Time for the Toyota all-wheel drive RAV 4th inning. Toyota, what drives you?
Scoreless ball game as we take you to the 4th tonight. Glad you're with us. Don't stop dreaming. Everybody filing in tonight and having a good time.
That could be a preview of the Preakness, the Derby winner. Oh, always dreaming.
That was your prediction.
Yeah.
If I do recall. Hopefully you'll have the same success here for Garrett Cole in this inning.
That's right. I'm betting on Garrett.
Facing the heart of the order, Harper, Zimmerman, and Murphy.
2 runners, 2 base runners so far, a walk, and a base hit.
A little no man's land single. That's the sound you normally hear off Harper's bat. He grounded out weakly his first time.
Yeah, what Garrett did the first time was show him a lot of fastballs, do some work with a fastball, and then took something off and got the bouncer to second. Changing speeds, as Ray Surge would say. Disrupting the rhythm of a hitter is what pitching is all about. Right there. That's a little steam heat on the outside corner. W.B. Mason strike zone. Just barely broke the window pane.
There's Ray Searage.
He's liking that pitch. Nothing not to like.
Underneath it.
Again, took something off.
How long it takes to come down. So Harper 0 for 2.
A lot of fastballs, a previous fastball on the outside corner, and then disruption of the hitter's rhythm.
So you take away one 385 hitter and then bring up another.
And start him off with a nice breaking ball.
Yeah, Harper and Zimmerman 1-2 in batting average yesterday and today. They just flip-flop spots.
Yeah, that'd be a great tag team in professional wrestling.
Who was the guy with the beard? Was that Hacksaw?
Oh, a lot of them.
Now, who am I thinking of? No,
well,
the
Yukon Eric had
who was the guy that had the big beard like Bryce Harper? I didn't watch wrestling as much as I should.
I watched a lot of wrestling. We started watching. That was the only thing that was on in 1955 when we got our TV. Wrestling from Marigold with Jack Brickhouse.
Yeah?
Yep.
I didn't know Jack Brickhouse did that.
Marigold Gardens. Good night and good luck.
Speaking of that era, right? So 2 up and 2 down here in the Nationals 4th, and RBI Baseball 2017 is coming up. It's available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and all your mobile devices. It's fast-paced, pick-up-and-play MLB action with all your favorite teams. So learn more at rbigame.com. Daniel Murphy, no slouch. An 8-pitch inning against the toughest 3 in the toughest lineup in baseball. Garrett Cole making it look easy. He's blanked them so far through 4. Bottom of the fourth. So far, a pitcher's duel shaping up.
Yep. Garrett Cole as advertised, and young Mr. Turner, very impressive through the first three.
Josh Bell struck out looking on a 3-2 pitch with 2 men on to end the first.
Jacob Turner, not the biggest guy in the world at 6'2", 220, but gets it there 95 miles an hour. 12 major league wins, as we said, 37 losses, but he perhaps has found a home pitching in front of this kind of offense.
Yeah, that ERA is a starter over 5. Did it chip something, or?
How about last night when the ball stayed on the bat of Adam Frazier for a double hit? That's crazy.
I don't think we would have ever known that if it weren't for the Supermo these days.
Yeah.
So Bell is gone. And look at our Point Park tweets for tonight. It is IUP night here, and much needed night out for that group. Good to have everybody out here tonight. Sid Kid. That's a fun name. Yeah, everybody's got their shirts out tonight. The special IUP themed hats, the colors, part of the giveaway tonight. Special ticket offer. We'll have those for all the area schools throughout.
Didn't Bob Walk had a son who went to IUP. Bob's wearing the hat.
Saw that. Extra stylish tonight in the Pirates radio booth.
And speaking of the Walk family, good friend of the Bob Walk family.
Oh, he's got the hat hanging up right there. Oh, yep. Ah,
there you go.
he's also promoting his bobble chair on Saturday.
Yeah. Going back to a friend of the Walk family, Paul Dietz, great Pirate baseball fan, celebrating birthday number 93. Bob wanted us to pass that along.
Happy birthday.
Paul's been a good friend of the Walk family and a great friend of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Paul, appreciate all that support for all those years. Happy birthday.
Turner makes the play. Not only to get there to stop it, but to recover and make it accurate throw. Wow.
We see him make plays. Now, he's been charged with an error tonight, but we saw last night him make a tremendous play. And this one is almost as good. On his belly, on the grass, gets up, strong, accurate throw to first base. That is a big league play. Big league play.
Great look on our Allegheny Health Network Supermo. I knew who he had running.
Well, yep, and he covers a lot of ground.
A lot of range for Mr. Turner, the 23-year-old. His opposite number, Jordy Mercer.
Yeah, this is very good. When you are down in that position and somebody's running toward first base and you get up and your throw beats him there, that's pretty good stuff.
Great ground level view, too.
Yep. Also works that bubble gum pretty good.
Well, it is
a whole lot of pitching.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's all pitchers so far. Jacob Turner matching Garrett Cole. There, Rob. Thanks for showing us that. And so the Mets decimated with injury right now.
Yeah, we don't want to hear it, do we? The way our guys are falling.
No, sir. Hey, look at that.
See, that's the breaking ball. Yeah, you got to get around the side, get this good spin on it.
Until she's advanced already, got her ears pierced, already knows how to throw a breaking ball.
Just like the ball players.
It's a wonderful twilight here on a warm night, summer like tonight.
Summer breeze.
It makes me feel nice or makes me feel right. I've never understood. It makes me feel nice. Either way.
Yeah.
I feel nice and right.
Is it Hall & Oates or something? Summer breeze? Who sang that?
Zach knows everything.
Seals and Croft. Very good. Thank you, guys. In the
Pete Toma in the truck had that one figured out right away. Didn't need the goggle for that. Rendon.
Stay up.
McCutcheon gets there. Just one hit against Garrett Cole so far tonight. And we were telling you earlier about Saturday. You want to make sure you're one of the first 20,000 fans, as the Pirates will host the Phillies on Saturday at 4:05. It is the Bob Walk Chair Tip Bobble Chair presented by Root Sports. Go to pirates.com/bobbleheads and get your tickets. And this hopefully one of the kind item. Bob is also helping to promote the event. Yep. In case you forget, 4:05 Saturday, be there. First 20,000.
Be there.
Bob said yesterday, really only 19,999 are going to get one because he wants one. So I think it's fair. He was the inspiration.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nice
Way
play,
to go,
Josh Bell.
JB. That's what we're talking about, our tips to win. Defense. Pirates flashing the leather. That's a nice play. Leadoff man, or excuse me, second out. A chance now to have another very quick inning.
He does extra work there every day. And whereas it has not always been as easy looking for Bell, he's trying to make it so. Joey Cora has worked with him incessantly in his first year as infield and third base coach of the Pirates. So you can only work as hard as you can to get better, and that's what Josh Bell has done. So instead of having a speedster at second, Garrett Cole ends up having a 6-pitch inning.
And gets the pitcher to lead off.
Now the Pirates need a run for him. Here are the fifth. 0-0.
Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, the largest health system rated #1 in the region for all the things that matter most. And by Kenny Ross Subaru, total confidence pricing. Let's go Bucks!
Beautiful night starting to form here. Twilight in Pittsburgh. Second game of this 6-game homestand. Boy, there's no better backdrop than that. Gope got out of the way. First pitch curve in.
That's a delivery. Says don't lean over like you're going to bunt, because sometimes that can happen. You know, you always think, and it's second guessing and everything. After that ball comes up and in on you like that, you think the last thing that's on the pitcher's mind is that I'm going to try to bunt again. and so, hey, why don't you give it a try? That's the last thing he's thinking about.
The mind games between hitter and pitcher.
Yep.
The constant adjustments that are being made. And Gope saying the other day that now that he's had a few weeks in the major leagues, he feels like the difference between that and AAA is that everybody is consistent. You're not facing some guy that's so-so one night and really good the next night and then really bad the next night. Everybody's at least at a certain level, and then they go up from there.
Yep. They're all good, and some are gooder.
Yes. Turner's been gooder tonight so far.
But not gooder than Cole.
No. Although the O's on the scoreboard make it look that way. Cole next.
Turner is kind of duplicating what he did against the Rockies back in April. That people all remember that start because it's the only one prior to tonight.
Now, Turner was just named a starter after the game yesterday. Now, he may have known a little bit before that, but we didn't catch wind of it until then. So
it was a game shrouded in secrets. We all know that, don't we?
Yeah, Dusty Baker has won a lot of games. 22nd year managing, 9 shy of 1,800 wins. Was chewing sticks and secrets.
Yeah,
getting them all those victories. Nice play by Rendon. Now we talk about the Nationals bats too. They've got some good defenders in addition to some decent pitching as well. It's a good team.
Yep. Nice pick on the move by Rendon, who's a very complete baseball player.
Yeah.
Come down to it.
Nationals coming into tonight with the best record in the league. 25-13. Cole had a couple of men aboard last time around. Popped out trying to bunt.
Wanted to get himself a run on that swing.
He's hit a pair of home runs in his career. And a career entering tonight 176 hitter. Right at Turner.
These guys are not wasting any time.
No hits by either team since the second. And our day automotive this day in Pirates history back in '71. The Pirates beating the Expos 6-5. They won it on a walk-off triple by Roberto Clemente. Hit off Mike Marshall in the 9th inning. And Clemente 3 hits, including a home run. And Jim Nelson, Nellie Briles, and Mudcat Grant each with 2 innings of shutout relief. Grant got the win.
2, 4, 6 innings of shutout relief. I must have started that one.
The Clemente wall. 21 feet high for number 21. Out there and right here at PNC Park. Wouldn't mind Frazier hitting one off of it or over it. We've seen 3 hits featured in this game. I misspoke. There was a hit in the 3rd inning by Washington. 1 in each of the first 2 innings for the Pirates. We have not seen an extra base hit in this game. And that's from that tall wall and right, the Clemente wall.
Where's Amy? Amy King. Hey, Amy, come on, give us a wave.
Amy's got the
that's
camera down right.
Her dad, Nellie King, a great Pirate announcer, great friend. Amy's a great friend. The whole family. We got to know them so well through the years. Really good people. I was showing Amy some of the stuff that Nellie gave to me when I was pitching and he was broadcasting, done by hand, a chart of every game I pitched in 1968.
Oh, really?
It was fascinating with little notes on the side. I mean, fascinating to look at.
Hard hit. And Turner can't get there in time. Base hit for Frazier.
Just got far enough away from the pitcher. Chris Spire looking on there. Well respected opponent. Dusty in the foreground. Got a piece of Turner and then just far enough away. He got to reverse his direction, go get it by then. No chance to get Frazier, who runs well.
Frazier getting a good jump, or a good lead, I should say. Trying to get a good jump too. He has not stolen a base yet, but he will.
Did Ryan Zimmerman think he might have got him here?
Was his hand all the way? Was it on the bag?
Close, close.
I think
But no
he
second
slid
look.
across. His hand kind of came across the bag, and so that movement may have thought Zimmerman may have thought it got him. He's going to probably try to get in scoring position here with 2 outs for Jaso.
Creeping, he's creeping. Oh, they got him.
Yep. Turner waited until he committed, and 1-3-6. Frazier, and the Pirates' offer in the 5th is through.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Adam Frazier caught trying to go to end that inning. Just the 3rd hit for the Pirates tonight. Nationals been limited to just 1. Turner waiting. And then a game of pickle. So we start anew. And Turner, then Turner, Jacob and Trey. Jason Worth bats 3rd in the inning. 9-1-2 for Washington. Just a little bloop hit off Garrett Cole by Lobaton to lead off the 3rd inning. That's been it. In the hit column, 1 walk. Against baseball's leading offense.
And you love to have the pitcher leading off this deep into the ball game. You figure your chances are, I don't know what the percentages are of working against the mound opponent. Is this Turner to Turner? Is this a law firm coming up here?
Turner and Worth.
Yeah.
Due up, right?
And what are they worth with Jason's contract? A lot.
Final year of it. Now a strike to the opposing pitcher. Well, this is the kind of night that we've seen a lot from Garrett Cole. Cole pitches great and not a lot of runs come across. Least amount of run support by any qualified pitcher in baseball coming into tonight.
That's the bad news. The good news is that if he keeps going like this, he won't need much. He'll need 1 point.
Right. I don't know if we would have thought that even as well as Cole has pitched. He walks the pitcher to lead off the 6th. Second walk tonight.
And that'll fry him a little bit, as you can tell. That's body language. That's the look. That's the Garrett Cole look.
And the Zambelli fireworks. We'll be looking at that on Friday as the Bucks take on the Phillies at 7:05. Stay after the game when Zambelli fireworks light up the Pittsburgh skyline. Go to pirates.com/fireworks. For Garrett Cole, 5 straight quality starts. In fact, 5 straight, as you pointed out earlier, Steve. 2 earned runs
in the last 6
or fewer. Yeah, you can go back 6 starts for that, I think, and 6 innings or more, and no wins in those last 5, and that has not happened in baseball in 7 years for any pitcher to have a stretch like that to not get a win, and it hasn't happened to the Pirates in 99 years. You remember Hickory Bob Harmon, don't you?
Hickory Bob.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So got to get Cole a win tonight. He's doing everything he can. And the defense behind him has too.
Once again, David Freese making a nice play. Probably never going to have a chance to get 2 on that because of the speed of this Turner. Here's the pick.
Gope gave him a chance at least.
Yeah, well, he did everything he could. They got what they were going to get maxed out of that play, and it started with Freese making the pick.
The guy that you can probably have a much better chance of doubling up now. Jason Worth standing in. Turner is a threat to run, though. He has swiped 7 bags, including 1 last night.
Well, somebody's going to have to run because they're not doing much offensively. Somebody's going to have to take some chances. Frazier did last time and got burned, but that doesn't stop the idea that you're going to have to push it a little bit, take some risks.
Pirates have allowed more stolen bases than any team in baseball. So imperative on Cole to work with Cervelli.
It starts with him. It starts with Garrett Cole, protecting his catcher, giving his catcher a chance.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. On this warm night, Cole trying to stay cool out there. A little flushed. Nightfall setting in.
Okay. Let him know you're there. I love the pickoff play, and it's a balk, but I did it for 10 years. There he is, keeping track of going to the set position, throwing the ball, and then stepping toward first. It becomes a blur if you're quick enough to the umpire. They can't pick it up. It's a good move.
7 out of 8 for Turner.
Seen a lot of those kind of swings by Jason Worth. Has all kind of power, but he protects that low pitch, and he protects the low pitch that's out of way. Now he's got such a wingspan that he can reach that ball and do a little bit with it. We saw that approach on good-looking pitches down and away last night.
Is that telling you that he's trying to pull the ball? If he's just defending that outer edge?
No, I think he's waiting long enough to be able to reach out and push it a little bit. I mean, he can really turn on a ball and yank it down the left field line, but he protects a little bit better than you think for a big man. There he is again. For a power guy, he protects the plate pretty well.
Spoiling that curveball.
Now, will they at some point try to get away with some heat upstairs? Just to, not suggesting it, just wonder after all the low stuff. No, they want to stay down and away. Pitch out. Okay.
I was thinking the same thing. You know, do they try to bounce another curve? Right, it might be a pitch to run on.
Yeah. Or do they try to get him to chase after he's been seeing everything downstairs? Curveball. That's what I'm seeing.
Indeed.
We have seen people chase a curveball that's that bad because they commit to a fastball swing to pull the ball and can't do anything about it. And Cervelli gets everything he can out in front of that ball. That freezes Turner at first base.
Well, now it's 2-2. You got Harper and Zimmerman, Murphy. All those big boppers coming. Already with Turner aboard and one out. No score in the 6th. Turner running, did not get a good jump.
Almost looked maybe like a run and hit kind of thing rather than a straight steal. Yeah, not a great jump. You're right, Joe.
First time for everything.
Not really. Not really.
Running again. Frazier with some room.
Nicely done by Garrett Cole. Again, staying away from the fastball and had Worth out in front. So yeah, he hit it out to medium left field, but he had to. He's almost flat-footed because the body has gone, so the body's not happening in the swing. So that's all he's got left. Hits it decently, but doesn't drive the ball when he's fooled like that. And he knows Mr. Cole got him.
Yeah, right down the chute, but you know, if you don't have the timing right, you got to have location and
you're not
time.
Staying back, you're out in front, so your body's done helping you, so you got your arms left. Sometimes the arms are enough, but not very often.
Bryce Harper.
Once again, starting him off with the heat. He's done a nice job against Harper. The ground ball and the pop-up. It's been kind of a pattern of showing him fastball, and then all of a sudden you don't get the fastball. It's caused him to be 0-2. For 2.
Turner running. And Mercer got a high throw. Perfect throw, maybe. Anything shy of that, Turner was pretty much in there.
Yeah, you've got to have the glove in front of the bag, kind of waiting for the ball to get there. Well,
he's really fast.
Yeah, and that's not a great jump. But you not only have to go up in the air, but you got to go over toward first base, and then you have to look for the runner. So that was all about speed. I didn't think that was a particularly great jump.
A steal. Now in scoring position, base hit probably can score the game's first run.
Again, going soft, away from the fastball.
Now, Cole has really pitched to contact tonight. I mean, 2 strikeouts, both looking. Is that more of his style or the Nationals' ability to just, you know, well, they can hit and they can put the ball in play?
Yeah, they're that good, and he is changing speeds nicely tonight. I think he's really gotten them off balance a good bit, and he's got to get a big out here. Almost got him to go.
Only 3 swings and misses tonight for Cole. Those are all on the fastball. So,
but he's
shows you the talent the Nationals have, right?
Right, and shows him the confidence he has in going with his off-speed stuff. Now you got to take an overview of this game too right now, because even if they score, you are not too far away from getting into the Washington bullpen again, and that's where you want to be.
That's their Achilles heel.
So that's what Garrett Cole has done to this point, and then some.
Cole's been getting ahead with that first pitch strike coming into tonight. 5th best in baseball in that percentage. That's gone up. He's been even better this evening.
And you don't mind having Cervelli go out there and talk to the ball game could be in the balance here with this at bat.
And that's the kind of pressure Cole's pitched under all season. Every game, if you allow a run, you may not win.
Hey.
And he's been answering the bell. I mean,
that's the deal.
He's lost some 2-1 games, and he's been that good.
Again, off speed, 92, but not the 96, 97. And once again, that Bryce Harper had to make a late decision to swing.
He's 0 for 3 tonight, still scoreless in the 6th. Our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. And around baseball today, Mark Melanson is back with the Giants. A brief stint on the 10-day DL. Clayton Kershaw beat Johnny Cueto today. Chris Sherman with a game-winning home run in the 11th. As the Mets downed again, and Miguel Cabrera had been injury-plagued throughout the early portion of the season. Left side, late scratch from the Tigers lineup today. Here in Pittsburgh, we got a beauty on the UPMC scoreboard. 0-0 Pirates and Nationals tonight. Got a feeling it's going to change right here in this inning.
Okay, I'll take it.
I'm on record. Jaso McCutchen Freeze facing Jacob Turner. Late addition to the Washington rotation.
And the thing is, his pitch count now 68 pitches as he works in the 6th inning. So we were talking conceptually about getting into the Washington bullpen. I don't think we're anywhere close to that. 68, yeah. That's unbelievably, well, it's believable because it's been 68 pitches.
Well, you look at the rest of the Nationals rotation, and there's some established guys and some very, very good pitchers in that rotation. Turner is just a wild card, although he had the pedigree when he was drafted years ago, 8 years ago. Figure this is going to be the night with the ace, but so far Turner has matched Garrett Cole.
Just with one strikeout, he's walked a couple.
He's no Max Scherzer.
Is that Max? Yeah, Max.
But he's pitched almost as well, or at least as effectively as Max Scherzer usually does.
I'll tell you, Max Scherzer gets it. He is he's a great representative of this game. He certainly has confidence. He believes in himself, but he hasn't carried himself up to a pedestal. He's got time for people. This guy is one of the best.
As we know, nearly authored a perfect game. Has issued 2 no-hitters, a 20 strikeout, no walk game. As dominant as they've come. Now here's how it could start. A leadoff walk, just as Jaso did his last time around in the 3rd. And Andrew McCutchen coming up, and he has worked a lot today. This is early work. This is before batting practice. Earlier today, he's out there working for hours, working specifically on breaking pitches, coming from a machine there that kind of specializes that. It's not like he's not aware of the results he's had so far this season. And you know, he was double switched out last night. Clint Hurdle making a very reasonable explanation for that. There was no guarantee his spot was going to come up in the game, is how he described it. And McCutchen, I'm paraphrasing here to clean it up some, but you know, he said he was upset at himself, not the team, and not Clint Hurdle, but at himself for being in the position that it made it a little bit easier for Clint Hurdle to make that decision. And so he's taken ownership for how it started. But you and I have talked about it through the game tonight. It's not like, I actually think he's doing better now than he was, say, at the outset of last season when he was struggling, even though the numbers look worse. He was chasing at more pitches, wasn't driving the ball nearly as much. I think he's bound to turn it around at least some here in the near future. And I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well,
not in this at bat, though.
Okay. First of all, we'll get the reality of it. The numbers are what they are.
Yes.
As simple as that. Yeah, and I go by the numbers, and I know what he's capable of. So I will not be surprised if he turns it on and gets hot and just becomes the Andrew that we've known for so long. But the numbers don't lie. I mean, we need him to be a lot better. We need him to be a lot better.
Oh,
and he knows that. He's a major leaguer and a good one. Been a good one. He's been a great player.
He's aboard with 1 out, and yeah, the Pirates here at the quarter point of the season. They've had some attrition from injury and otherwise, but also the guys that have been in there, some of them have not. And McCutchen, of course, face of the franchise, is going to, and deservedly so, get the most look at that.
Right, and can't take away from the fact the other major league teams have injuries too. We're not the only
question.
ones.
And in fact, the Pirates have probably been a little bit, at least in the outset of the season, they were spared any injury.
Early on, we were in good shape health-wise.
Polanco placed on the DL today. 10-day affair with the hamstring concern. I think he should be close to the minimum on that, which would be 8 more days. Retroactive placement on the DL.
Quick move, very, very quick move by Turner. I think what's going to happen, Joe, is at the All-Star break, they're going to line up all the major league players and say, if you've not been on the DL, raise your hand.
And the 3 will raise their hand.
Well, the 10-day DL has been used, and then some. It's been a big-time tool for the organizations.
Dodgers have used it to shuffle in and out starters.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have a, and the reason they changed it from 15 days to 10 is something like Polanco, for instance. Remember last year Polanco spent what, 9 or 10 days that he was not available, and then finally came back. Now you can just put a guy on the disabled list if he has kind of that tweener injury, and then you've got an extra guy. I mean, you think if the Pirates had to be in that position where Polanco would be down a week, 8 days, and having only 1 true outfielder on the roster for, you know, and playing with 24 men. No, so Danny Ortiz in the middle there is called up again today. He is a true outfielder. And what I mean by that is, you know, has played outfield his whole career, not just recently.
Hopefully that got some of the armor.
Wow, Freese is all right after that, or at least appears to be so. That sounded like that hit very hard all the way up here. Meaty part of the arm.
Sights and sounds of baseball.
So now Josh Bell with 2 men on. Who's going to push across the first run tonight? Got him stacked up on the right side. The shortstop nearly up the middle. Garrett Cole hoping that he'll have a lead when he takes the mound next. This has been a theme. He's pitched great, and for whatever reason the Pirates cannot score many runs for him. Even less than they have when they've struggled. McCutchen trying to take third.
Huge jump. And Rendon back in this position. Great perception for Andrew. In a 1-out situation, that's a huge 90 feet. There's your shortstop, and there's your third baseman standing there.
Caught him off guard. An alert steal, the fourth for McCutchen. And situationally, yeah, you fly ball here. Now you got a lead. And with the infield back, ground ball 2, more than likely. What's Bell trying to do here now?
You're trying to get the ball out of the infield. Keep it away, because you hit it hard at somebody, they can still turn it. It's not easy, but get the ball out of the infield. Find a way.
That should work. A soaring blast by Josh Bell, and the Pirates score first tonight. Josh Bell is team leading 8th home run. The Pirates are up 3-0.
And now Maddox out to talk to Turner, and we all were aware that the last start, and it was April 24th, Turner was great through 5+ innings against the Rockies, and then he exited the game after somebody hit a 3-run home run. The only runs he gave up, and this is a no-doubter. Oh, how do you like that, Garrett? Think Garrett Cole's not watching that? You know that old phrase, touch 'em all.
Estimated at 398 feet on StatCast. 8 homers now for Josh Bell. And Cole has a lead with which to work.
And not just a sacrifice fly.
Oh, no. He hit it out of the infield.
Yeah, he did.
The outfield.
That's what I wanted. Hit it out of the infield.
And a little farther, maybe out of the whole thing.
You hit it out of the infield, or you can hit it in section 33.
Well, as you mentioned, Steve, Turner in that last start, his only other start with the Nationals, turned into a pumpkin, and he served up a big pumpkin to Josh Bell.
Yep.
Got all the way out there. Yeah, there's a dent in it.
Yep. 108 stitches, guys.
Huge home run for Bell.
Isn't that something? Turner's going to be thinking about that.
Look how far up. I mean, that's over that 21-foot wall. And then what, 5 rows from the back there?
Yeah. How about that? 2 starts, 2 3-run home runs each in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
And shutout up until then. That's weird.
History repeats itself. Just the 4th hit for the Pirates tonight. A big blast. No swing, and now 3-2 on Cervelli. Still only 1 out.
Okay, what do we think? We think like 50-50, like always. You get some, you don't get some.
And Steve, you were talking about the pitch count of Mr. Turner.
Yeah.
And because he's having this rough inning, he's already thrown 23 pitches in this inning. Now he's just under 90.
And he won't throw another one.
And when this inning started, you're thinking
68. Yeah.
Right. He might be going most of the night. And now Dusty Baker has to go to his beleaguered bullpen. Although Blake Trinan was very good last night. He's coming on to try to put out the fire here. The Pirates threatening again in the 6th.
Presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And thanks to Josh Bell, the Pirates have a 3-0 lead here in the 6th. Not over yet. Man on with 1 out. And look at our Point Park tweets. Josh Bell with that ding, ding, dong.
He's a bell ringer.
Ring the bell 3 times, Adam. Yeah, that's right. That was a huge home run, breaking a scoreless ball game. And eventually sending Turner to the showers here in the 6th inning. So Dusty Baker has to go to that bullpen. Blake Trinan was very good last night as the Pirates were threatening in that 7th inning. Overall, not as good.
Yeah, he put the Pirates to sleep very abruptly. Double play, then a strikeout, and that rally ended quickly, abruptly.
Hard sinker ball there, but Mercer connects. And the Pirates awakening here in the 6th. Coming into this series, the Nationals bullpen, one of the least effective in the majors.
Right down the middle, and Jordy pushes it to right field, keeps the ball rolling.
Finds the hole. And after the home run, Pirates trying to start something back up here. Bell with his 8th home run, now leads National League rookies. The way that he's come on the last month, he keeps this up. Start talking about Rookie of the Year at some point. He's still eligible. Now look at there are 15 teams in the National League. These are their ranks for the Nats bullpen. This has been the one sore spot that Dusty Baker's had to deal with.
Looks a little different when they haven't scored 7 runs already, doesn't it?
Tip your cap to Garrett Cole. Boy, has he pitched a number tonight. Cole's allowed 1 hit, and because he's got a lead, he'll be entitled to bat.
And you remember that hit, just a little bloop out to center field.
I mean, no hit type stuff tonight against baseball's best offense. Cole's the best 1-in-4 pitcher of all time, probably at this point in the season.
Yeah, you know, you put that chart up, the negatives of their bullpen, 15th, 15th, 14th. Now you can flip the coin, their offensive numbers. First.
Yeah.
So feast or famine. So far, a lot of feasting because the offense has been that good.
And their starting pitching's been pretty good too. So they generally haven't had to go to the bullpen until, you know, the 7th. Like, you know, the starters have actually worked into the 7th more often than not. Three and 1 on Ngope with a hit already tonight and 2 trips. Cole next. Load him up for Cole and have him bring in a couple. Why not? Trying it on in relief of Jacob Turner. Ousted after Bell's 3-run home run and a walk to Chevalier. That's the 2nd out.
Good looking, almost like a cut fastball. Looked like it had a little movement side to side. You add that kind of movement with that kind of speed. You see that ball going across a little bit. That's a pretty special pitch.
So now Cole.
Guess fastball right here, Gary. Just give it as good a rip as you can.
0 for 2 tonight.
Oh, the trickster gave him the breaking ball. That's a violation of pitchers' union rules against other pitchers.
Not with 2 men on.
yeah, you're right. That does affect it somewhat.
Good things happen when you put it in play, or can at least. Let the Nationals quiet that. But Josh Bell, a very loud home run. His team leading 8th of the year. And the Pirates are on the scoreboard. 3-0 they lead it as we go to the 7th. tonight. Garrett Cole has been virtually unhittable against the best offense in baseball.
Been terrific, mixing up speeds, keeping them off the board. This is pretty impressive stuff, but not to be unexpected. Garrett Cole has the capability of doing it.
Yellowwood bringing lumber. Finally some runs for him. Josh Bell unloading a 3-run home run, getting the Pirates on the board. That 8th home run of the year, leads the Pirates. He's leading the Pirates tonight. He's leaving the ball game as well. Now to switch. Our UPMC scoreboard. Beautiful night here. 3-0 Buccos. And Danny Ortiz just called up again today. He is out there in right. As Bell is out, Jaso moves over to first to take his place. And Cole at 84 pitches will begin the 7th.
One of the great things about Bell too is he is mixing up his home runs. They're not all as a right-hand batter. They're not all as a lefty. He's got some nice splits with both sides of the plate. It's great.
Cole tonight has given up just the 1 hit.
And they're working on a camera or microphone in back of home plate.
This game is televised? What?
That is not supposed to be there.
Oh, I don't know where that came from. That's not from Root Sports. I don't know where that came from. I think that's like a t-shirt gun or shoots out gumballs or something. I don't know what that is.
Garrett getting a little laugh. They wanted your close-up. That was your close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Oh, 1 hit tonight. Jose Lobaton came up with a little blooper that dropped in to lead off the 3rd inning. Shattered bat.
How about that start to the 7th inning after you score? Now the great thing before that pitch is separating Bryce Harper and Zimmerman. Harper made the last out, so you don't get them in the same inning, and now leads off, and wonderful.
He's done that twice tonight. And between Harper and Zimmerman both coming in hitting over 380 tonight, top 2 in terms of batting average, top 3 in home runs, top 2 in RBIs. They're 0 for 6 tonight. None of them have hit the ball hard.
Well, you know, it goes back to the age-old concept: superior pitching will get really good hitting out. It still works that way. As good as they are, if you get superior pitching, it can carry the day. Now, there's still a lot of day left, even though it's dark night. There's still a lot of daylight in this ball game. But Garrett has been absolutely great.
We keep thinking, well, this has been his best start in a while, because he seems to get progressively better as the season's gone on. It's great to see him healthy.
He'll be closing in on 90 pitches.
Against a team that has not been blanked this season.
And he has never had a shutout, nor will he probably get the chance tonight with a pitch count.
Yeah, that pitch count's up there.
But,
that's averaging better than 6 runs a game. That's the 2nd hit of the night for Washington. Hard to keep Murphy down too. All these guys really. But even that, just a roller single. So 1 on and 1 out. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
I was guessing that was who's going to bring it. And we're moving around in the Pirate bullpen.
Here's Anthony Rendon.
Slicing foul. Yeah, you look at a 3-run outburst and it looks huge because nothing was happening, but you're playing the Washington Nationals.
Good point. As a pitcher moves on through the night, mistakes usually become more prevalent, right? Even for the best, the pitcher is kind of get tired as the game goes on.
Oh yeah. You these kind of games, you've got to monitor everybody, but especially your pitcher. You got to just keep track of him. Sometimes it's body language. Sometimes it's a control issue.
No signs of that so far from Cole.
Used to be the old thing. Well, he's standing straight up. You know, he's not bending over, bending his back like he would. That's sometimes an indication the guy's getting tired.
Now the velocity's still there, and look at that, still on the edges. Second one calling the ball.
Should be 0-2. Should be 0-3. But you can't get them all. And the thing is, and Garrett has gone in the ninth inning. He's pitched a complete game. When you talk about fatigue, yeah, right now it's a grind. Right now in the seventh inning, eighth inning, you get to the ninth inning, the adrenaline is physically is going to carry you through. In terms of you're not going to be tired in the ninth inning. You're on your way.
99 from Cole, and he strikes out Rendon.
Maybe making a statement that I'm fine no matter what the numbers are up on the pitch count board. This is steam heat downstairs, and that's a mismatch. And we were just singing the praises of Rendon as being a complete ball player. He is, but that was a complete put you away strike.
Cole is very, very, very good.
Right on the knees. That's placing that fastball perfectly.
Goodwin 0 for 2 tonight. Cole has thrown as many as 114 pitches in a game this year. So, you know, if he gets the out here, his spot just came up last inning. Certainly could.
You don't know
give
anymore.
You the eighth.
You don't know anymore. Yeah.
Could.
Yep.
Doesn't mean should or will. Juan Nicasio and Felipe Rivero. Couple of hard throwers.
Good to see that Rivero is able to pitch.
We're also seeing Nicasio now move more and more into the role that Daniel Hudson occupied earlier this season.
What was the problem with Rivero last night? Neck issues?
Stiff neck.
Stiff neck.
And that off and on in the Arizona series. Goodwin. And Ortiz. First time getting any action off that wall. And the late relay allows the Nationals to get their first run.
They wound up having a play at home plate that I didn't think they were going to have, but they did wind up having that opportunity. Ortiz went over and did a good job anticipating.
Never had one off that wall yet. There's few innings out there.
There goes Murphy.
It's not run great. And maybe the pair of rookies on that relay and Gope, just a little hesitation. We just didn't think that he could have got Murphy.
I didn't think initially when the ball bounced off the wall that we're going to have a play at home plate. We wound up having one. The relay throw from Ortiz into Ngopi was on a bounce. It complicates it a little bit. Might have gotten his head that, okay, because of that bounce, maybe I don't have a play at home plate. Looked around and realized he did.
Goodwin somewhat narrowly missing his first major league home run. An RBI double. Now the tying run comes to the plate. Cole on the bottom part of the order with Jose Lobaton. Loop single and a line out. On this warm night, Cole has had some quicker innings early, but 21 pitches last inning. Only 12 so far here, but the first run across tonight. Still at 97.
Adam Lynn in the on-deck circle, ready to go. Put your spot up next.
He's already got 3 pinch hit home runs this year. And there's the pitches.
I didn't hear that, Joe. You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Got
Get him. Oh, yeah.
Francisco Cervelli cleaning it up. Garrett Cole loving that. What a play to close out the 7th inning. They break through and we shut it down. Yeah.
He's loving it. And the Pirates take a lead into the stretch. Pirates still lead 3-1 on our UPMC scoreboard.
And you don't make that pickoff unless you're alert. You're keeping track of the ball game. You don't get careless. Francisco Cervelli saw it, sees the move there, and he's feeling it. And nicely moving in is Jordy Mercer. So, wow. Well,
almost got by him.
Yeah, well, yeah, he kept sliding away from the bag, and Garrett Cole's on it with his catcher. You always love your catcher, and you know that's loving your catcher times 10.
They love throwing to Cervelli. And that's a big out as the Nationals had just pushed across their first run. And the ex-Pirate now, Oliver Perez.
Trina goes 2/3 of an inning and leaves.
He was brought in to face Frazier yesterday, and Frazier singled off him. Frazier lifetime against lefties, hitting at .432.
See if we can double hit a ball single into right center field again. Look at Ollie giving you a little backwards look. Try to add to the deception.
Yeah, now 35 years old.
That's what you do when you've been around a long time, trying to give them something else to deal with. You gonna look at us this time, Oliver? No.
In the air. And in the seats.
Oliver will try a little bit of everything. He'll quick pitch you. He'll look towards second base, a la Louis Tiant. He's found a way to survive at the major league level.
After being a starter, moving to the bullpen years back. Once pitched in the minors for the Nationals and could not make the big leagues back in 2011, and has resurrected his career as a lefty specialist.
Wouldn't mind adding on a little bit.
Oh yeah. Trying to get that run back that the Nationals picked up You get the top half.
Yeah.
Nice two-strike approach.
Yep. Only that time, only one contact on the bat. Last night, right in the same area, but it almost looked like Velcro. It looked like one of those lawn games where you have a Velcro thing and stuck to the bat. Big sidearm roundhouse curve that he's able to hang in there, continues hitting the lefties.
447 now a lifetime against lefties. He's done it his whole pro career. Now Clint Hurdle tonight putting Jaso in the 2 spot, so you can enable Dusty Baker to use Perez here. Now Jaso is hitless against lefties this year, 0 for 8. That's probably why we saw the bunt. Jaso just moved over to first base for defense. Matt Albers starting up. The one move you could make here is bringing in the right-handed batting Osuna, who could play first.
Wait a minute.
But then you're down a man for later. Did that go between his legs?
Yes. And the save by the catcher now, that's like a Broadway show choreographed dance. That's crazy.
Sometimes you just don't know what you're going to see at the ballpark. Jay Haig showed us that last night.
I've seen that twice. I'm still not sure it happened. John always with a smile on his face.
Jaso trying to give himself up. Bell with the home run earlier. 3-run shot. Jaso in at first base in his place. Jaso a 160 career hitter against lefties. And very seldom sees them too, which probably adds to the difficulty. But with 2 strikes, appears that the bunt is off. They've got Frazier picked off again. Well, it says he's safe.
Balk?
No, or is it time called? No. Yeah, there's a balk call.
Hard for left-handers to be called for a balk.
What do you see, Steve?
Yeah, not a really emphatic move by that front leg to go to first base. Almost kind of flat-footed, almost toward home, and when you want to throw to first base, you got to step that way.
Dusty Baker not happy.
Remember when they used to have the great arguments? He balked. What did he do? Well, he balked. What did he do? He balked. And they used to go chapter and verse and make him explain exactly what he did. Now, here we go. More robotic baseball.
Bill Welke. Yeah, you just don't see the arguments anymore.
Nobody argues. Where the story's going to be. I want Mac to come back and steal first base. In his street clothes. Have him buy a ticket. That's all right. Just as long as he gets it done. That was a great moment in Pirate history.
Now 3-2 on Jaso.
Lloyd McClendon stealing first base as a manager.
Yeah, that has been taken away because of replay. Can't argue replay.
Good at bat so far for John Jaso.
Wow, he draws the walk against the lefty.
Terrific at bat.
He's trying to give himself up. Bunted twice, fouled it off. And Perez, who has come on to face 3 lefties here in the series, he's allowed Frazier 2 singles and has walked Jaso. So Matt Albers, the righty, to face Andrew McCutchen, coming up with 2 men on, nobody out. Pirates looking to add to their 3-1 lead. Our Nissan Road Ahead, the series finale tomorrow. Our coverage begins at noon. Tanner Roark against Tyler Glasnow tomorrow. And if the Pirates can hold this one, winner of that contest will take the series. Andrew McCutchen coming up with 2 men on and nobody out.
Nobody out. Matt Albers making appearance number 16. Very good control. Very good opponent's batting average against Matt Albers.
McCutchen with a bloop single tonight. Scored a run, stole third ahead of the Bell 6th inning home run.
Frazier was, have we seen a balk yet this year? Is that the first balk?
Prior to it, the Pirates have not had one, nor have the opponents. No, that's the first one. You're right. A 1-1 on McCutchen. Albers yesterday came on, could not retire a batter. He gave up a single to Mercer, and then an error behind him allowed Osuna to reach. Now 2-1, the count in his favor. Three and one on McCutchen.
I got called for a balk once at Forbes Field. Al Barlick, great old umpire, called a balk. He was umpiring third base. I started walking to him, screaming at him. He said, "One more step, if that foot comes down, you're out of here." I was like a point guard, pivoting and trying not to be called for traveling. Went back, stayed in the game.
Good thing you stayed in. And now 3-2 on McCutchen. Well, you want that extra run, Steve? Here's the guy with a freeze to follow. Nobody out. Frazier with good speed at second. An impressive 2-strike base hit. Jaso, who was trying to give himself up, ended up coming back to earn the walk against the lefty.
This could be a very big pitch coming up right here.
Out to right. Harper can't get it. And they're off to the races. Frazier being waved home. And he will score, and so will Jaso. It's a 2-run single for Andrew McCutchen.
Just what the doctor ordered. Slicing it up against the right field wall. Good read for the runners. And Andrew brings him home.
And they had to wait to see if this ball would get down. It wasn't until Harper started pulling up on that ball that Frazier took off. Jaso had other ideas.
Hesitation, but when you got the truck running up your back, you better keep going.
I think Joey Cora wanted to wave Frazier and maybe not Jaso, but there was no time to differentiate. So Jaso just kept going because he thought that was his side.
And the ball kept slicing away from Bryce Harper. Great at bat for Andrew. Payoff pitch paid off for the Pirates.
RBIs 18 and 19 for McCutchen. Now a 4-run advantage in the 7th. There goes McCutchen. And another stolen base. His second steal tonight and moves him into scoring position.
Pretty good jump by Andrew. Doesn't realize where the ball is for a minute. Looks back. So, no, we're going to keep it here. Just such a tough throw for any second baseman. You have to reach back into the base runner.
First 2-steal game for Andrew McCutchen since July 10th, 2014. He's decided to take third and second tonight. Now 2-1 on David Freese. Well, this Nationals bullpen coming into the series, third highest ERA of the 30 teams in baseball. Garrett Cole has gotten that run support that has been so elusive in his starts. He only plays to first. And because of that steal, now McCutchen in position to score on a fly ball with 1 out. And Danny Ortiz will be no Moonlight Graham. He had appeared in that game in Miami in the field, but came in late, didn't get a chance to bat, and was sent down the next day. Pirates needed an emergency catcher. John Borman was called up out of necessity, and you know, if Ortiz had never gotten another shot, he might have been one of the handful of players that played in a game but never batted in baseball. But alas, he gets his chance.
Moonlight Graham, also better known as Burt Lancaster.
The last one of those, Joe Heitpas, a 25-year-old catcher who caught an inning for the 04 Mets. So in his first major league plate appearance, he's got Andrew McCutchen at third, the infield in, and 1 out. Chance for a run batted in 2. Ortiz was sent back down, and he said that gave him more confidence, helped him to relax down in Indy after having a brief taste of major league action. And the count in his favor, 3-0. Cervelli is next. 2 runs across on the single by McCutchen. Just foul. Swinging on 3-0 in his first major league plate appearance.
Turn him loose.
I like
green
it.
light.
Yeah, it's a lot of times that might be your best pitch. Grooved fastball. After Ortiz was sent back down in 10 games, he hit .314. And picking up where he left off over the winter, he was the most valuable player and won the batting title, highest batting average, and in the Puerto Rican Winter League. Now 3-2. 27 years old, trying to score. McCutchen from third with 1 out.
The dues have been paid for Danny Ortiz.
Oh, and how?
A great treat for him to drive in some insurance for the Pirates.
Drafted in the 4th round by the Twins 9 years ago. Frazier led off the inning with a base hit. And Ortiz will work a walk. Career on base percentage of 1,000. This Nationals bullpen in the inning have combined to allow 4 of the 5 men to reach. And Mike Maddox, brother of Greg, longtime major league pitcher and pitching coach, out. Trying to counsel Albers here.
Right hand on the shoulder, per usual. You know it's Mike Maddox. Every time he goes out there.
What was your favorite conversation at the mound?
Leave me in the game. Second favorite, get me out of the game. It's time.
Depending on how the arm felt.
Well, my favorite conversation was when Bill Verdon came out after I was throwing the ball around in the bottom of the first inning with a 5-0 lead against the Dodgers. Verdon came out. You always knew there was a problem with Bill when the vein was out in his forehead. He comes out and the vein's out. There's about 40,000 people there, and he said, "Well, are you trying?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay." And he went back. That was it.
Just to give you a breather.
Or something, or say, get your act in order. We just got you 5 runs in the top of the first. By the way, statue to Bill Verdon being dedicated May 25th in his hometown of Springfield.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's going to be a great day for him. I sent out a video and I ended it after all the accolades. And Bill, just one more question. When is the statue of Shirley going to be completed? So they should get a kick. He'll give me a lot of nonsense about that.
2 on, 1 out for Cervelli. Pirates have played a pair here on McCutcheon's single, extending their lead. Garrett Cole has been masterful tonight, and Pirates have not been scoring a lot of runs for him tonight. They have here in the later innings, 6th and the 7th.
You want, of course, the great at bat by McCutcheon, but followed up by a real good bat by David Freese to move him over after the steal and create an opportunity to get a cheap run to add on, because you want to pile up as much as you can against this ball club.
Consummate pro, David Freese.
And a couple nice plays with the glove. He's had a good night.
3-0 on Cervelli.
Seems like these guys have come out of the bullpen, a lot of 3-0s.
Well, Dusty Baker has been, beleaguered. He's had a whole bunch of different closers in there. 5 different guys have had saves. He's trying to mix and match. Taking on 3-0 here. Yeah, Ortiz was 3-0.
Kutch got to 3-2.
And he even had 2 balls on Freeze. Jordy Mercer is next. Still only 1 out. Out to right. And that'll be deep enough to score McCutcheon. Sacrifice fly for Cervelli, and it's 6-1 Buccos.
Big run. Big run. Well done by Francisco. He has had a good night tonight.
Behind the plate with the arm. And now at the plate. 2 walks and a sac fly tonight.
And that run won't get much attention, but well put together by the Pirates to extend the lead.
Yeah, McCutcheon Steele setting that up. Moving to second, and then Freeze getting him over. Cervelli gets him in. Yeah, I'm with you, Steve. If you got a run out there against this Nationals lineup, and that's certainly no disrespect to the Pirates pitching. I mean, the Nationals averaging more than 6 runs a game. You feel good when you can get anything you can. Not done yet with 2 outs. Ortiz at first.
He was thinking about going.
Yeah, if Albers had been ready to throw at that moment, he might have gotten it.
And you look at the situation. Well, why not go? You've extended your lead. You might be able to get a stolen base, get another cheap run.
Hip. Back.
I'd be a little surprised if he didn't go.
Ivan Nova in there.
Garrett Cole in behind Frazier.
Well, he ended at the plate last inning. I said at the top of this inning that his spot wasn't going to come up for a while, so well, it might still come up this inning. He's in the hole right now. 2 outs. And now Albers ahead 1-2. Felipe Rivero, Lobaton the pitcher spot, and Turner due up in the Nationals' 8th. Now 2-2.
Extended at bats out of this Washington bullpen. Extended at bats.
It's been great. You know, the Pirates, no secret, offense has been lacking at times. They were shut out over the first 5 innings here tonight. Josh Bell's 3-run home run. McCutchen with a 2-run single. And Mercer makes the final out, but not before the Pirates add 3 more. And thanks in large part to Andrew McCutchen. His second hit tonight. A ringing single to the wall. Pirates up 6-1.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel. With express service, you're in and out in no time. Visit barrelservice.com to find a location near you. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Andrew McCutchen, that 2-run single, adding to the Pirates' lead. Now 6-1. And Matt Albers, who gave it up, not happy. Veteran venting.
Just sauntering down the runway, the steps. Felipe brings in the steam. And we'll bring in the numbers.
Look at those.
Dazzling 0.87 ERA. 20 appearances.
Been used a lot. Still very, very effective.
You know, we were talking, I think earlier, you were talking about his 4 pitches. He only really needs 2, the good fastball and the good curveball. But he will feature some of the others. But those are 2 really high-end pitches.
Changeup extraordinary as well. He'll throw a slider. Get some weak contact. You think the Nationals would like to have him back after that trade where the Pirates sent Mark Melanson at the trade deadline last year. Not only did they get Rivero, but also another hard-throwing lefty down in the minor leagues, Taylor Hearn, who may eventually appear in the Pirate uniform. It's worked out very well. Veteran Chris Izey. Bat for Albers.
100 miles an hour. Nice round number.
He had a nice cricket number, throwing as much as 102 in Arizona. Another century mark. And another out. As reliable as they've been around baseball this season. And tomorrow afternoon, the Pirates play the series finale here against the Nationals, and Tyler Glasnow starts for the Bucks against Tanner Roark of the Nationals. Our coverage starts at noon with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Looks like the winner will take the series in the finale. Well, matinee. Trey Turner hitless in 3 trips tonight, all against Garrett Cole. Went 7 innings, 3 hits, a run, and not until his final inning. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts against baseball's best offense. Another masterful outing.
So just continuing to do what he's done. Last 2 starts prior to tonight, 7 innings each.
And Rivero continues to dominate an 8-pitch inning. He protects the lead, and the Pirates will look to add to it, up 6-1. Music from Everclear coming to stage AE on June the 1st. Here on May the 17th, Pirates looking to make it 3 out of 4, leading 6-1 here in the 8th. Beautiful night, warm. Pirates getting those bats going late. Garrett Cole was fantastic. That'll be a memorable one.
Matt Grace just called up from the minor leagues. Joe Blanton being replaced by this left-hander.
Blanton placed on the DL today, the ex-Pirate.
Ex-Philly. By the way, Philly's coming in for the weekend.
Right shoulder inflammation for Blanton. Trey Turner. Oh.
Error number 2 tonight.
He's made some great plays tonight, and he's made a couple of miscues. He's only made one error all year coming into tonight.
This was too easy. He makes the tough ones. Catches a flyer.
And Gope aboard. And Alan Hansen will bat for Rivero. Hitless in his last 15. Good spot to get things going. Rivero retired the side in order on 8 pitches. Nice guy to have in your bullpen.
Clint enjoying tonight a lot more than he enjoyed last night, as we all are.
Pirates played from behind throughout yesterday. Got crossed up.
Yep, meeting out. All right, here's the signs we're going to use. Just called up from the minor leagues. Okay, let's go over the signs again.
Oh, with a runner at second, right? Maybe a second set that he's unfamiliar with.
But I would think the day you get called up, where do we use him? With a man on second.
Juan Nicasio ready for the 9th. A 5-run lead. Zimmerman. And Grace able to beat him to the bag, or at least so says Bill Welke.
We're going to want to look at this, or at least time out until we decide if we want to look at this.
Pirates do have a challenge. Oh, no, he did beat him on that diving play. Nice job by Grace.
And nice job with our camera work here, right here, because it looks so very close. But you slow it down and they got it right.
Not the first time someone around the first base bag named Grace looked good. Mark, talking about the Cub years ago. No relation for Matt. So when Gope moves to third, infield is in.
I'll say it again when I get this ball out of the infield.
Yeah, you've been spot on tonight. 2 singles for Frazier. Average at .333. Getting above 300 in his brief major league career. Has done just fine against lefties and has an RBI chance here.
He holds his ground pretty well against the lefties.
Goodwin was playing in a bit. And then Gope going to try to score, but he is thrown out, and that will end things here in the Pirates' 8th inning.
But did they give him a lane?
Well, I believe so. And so the inning ends despite the error. That's Eternal Boy, who will be featured on Friday Night Rocks this week. Join us tomorrow as the Bucks take on the Nats. And to hear more from Eternal Boy and some of the best bands of the Berg on Friday Night Rocks, presented by IC Light. We'll be hosting the Phillies on Friday, beginning the weekend. 6-1 Pirates. They were trying to add another in the bottom half of the 8th. And then Gope at third. And
why not take a shot? You got a big lead. Take a shot at adding on. Good one coming in, and the throw is a dandy.
Perfect throw.
Yep.
Goodwin, who had been playing shallow.
Yep, moving toward his throw. I mean, he had momentum going, and that doesn't mean anything unless it's on the money. And that one direction, I was right on the dinero. Looking for 3 outs.
5-run lead for Juan Nicasio. He's been awfully good this year. That's been pretty quiet there. 1.56 ERA. He's moved up and up in the pecking order. As Daniel Hudson has not had the results so far, so now we're seeing Nicasio more and more in a similar role. He's got Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman. No enviable task here in the ninth. Now, if the Pirates can win tonight, that makes 3 out of 4 in their favor. At the Nats tomorrow. And you got the Phillies and the Braves, who have struggled in the outset as well. And the Phillies at home, Atlanta in their new park. This is a stretch where the Pirates have a lot of home games too. 12 out of 16, including yesterday and tonight. And while, you know, the Pirates have not played their best baseball, they are not, you know, they don't have the manpower that they would have, at least on paper, to begin the season. Starting play tonight, they're 6 games out of first place. They're 7 under 500. I get it, but you get a good week, a great week. You know, you win 6 in a row or something like that.
Well, yeah,
8 out of 10.
You want to do something to make you feel good about your ball club,
right?
Because it's
they're not buried, is what I'm trying to point out.
Come off a tough road trip. You want to find a way to feel good about your baseball team, because they've been compromised, injuries and other factors.
And you know what, the talk today was, well, Andrew McCutchen is only hitting .206, and what do you do with him? And that was kind of the thing that was bandied about. And you know, we tried to point out that he's been hitting the ball hard a lot. Maybe that number isn't indicative quite of what he's been doing this year. And you know, tonight coming through the 2-run single, that was a big hit in the 7th. Got a little bloop single in the 1st. Scored a couple runs tonight. Stole a couple of bases tonight, which was great to see, and in good times.
Good night for Andrew. Yep.
So if the Pirates do indeed hold on tonight, they go to 17-23. We're at the quarter point of the season, 40 games in. Last time they started with that record, that poor of a record, was 2014. Still made the postseason that year. Not saying that this team makes the postseason. Who knows? We got 3/4 of a season left. It's possible. It's been done. It's been done a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. So just saying, here at this point, there's no white flags raised. They're just hoping for the Jolly Roger tonight. Nicasio here in the 9th, trying to get those 3 outs.
And Cervelli out talking to him. So, you know, we have some room here. Let's not try to give away base runners.
Maybe they use Clint Hurdle's parlance. Don't overcook it. Right? You got hitters, get outs.
Yeah.
Maybe someone hits one out of the ballpark. Okay.
Well,
all right.
Can't help you unless you help yourself. Put the ball in play. Give us a chance to make some plays.
Another wide one. Not a safe situation, but Nicasio with a lead in this narrow of a game. I don't think we've seen him in the 9th inning yet this year in this type of situation. Reflecting on Garrett Cole's outing tonight, made Bryce Harper look ordinary. And Zimmerman, who's out on deck, both 0 for 3 tonight, no hard hit balls.
Not an easy thing to do.
He's far from that. And so Nicasio being very careful. He's gotten a couple right on the edge.
Yep, staying away from the power. Yeah, you do want to do that, but not to the point where you threaten to create another base on ball situation.
Worth walk to start the inning. Well, Nicasio last year was one of the least effective at getting lefties out and limiting lefty power, especially. This year, much better in that department. We've seen him use the slider much less. It's been a lot of fastballs. Another one there.
And this is one of the real good fastball hitters.
Another waiting.
I think if you see a wide one, you're going to see Uncle Ray.
I agree.
Going out to try to get a reading on what's happening on the mound. Stay up.
It does. There's the first out. Ortiz. And Bryce Harper, a rare 0 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, and hit that ball right on the button.
Yeah, that definitely counts as a hard hit out. But an out. Doesn't matter how they come now.
Yeah, if he can get Zimmerman, you're exactly right. You put an 0 for 8 on that 1-2 package that the Nationals have. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, Harper coming into tonight.
They got the Roger there.
Yeah. Harper coming into tonight had been on base more times than he hadn't. 503 on base percentage. I mean, that's otherworldly. Zimmerman not far behind him. Now the rally cap's on. That's took the opener. Zimmerman 2 groundouts to short and a strikeout looking against Cole tonight. Cole gave up just 3 hits, 1 run that was knocked into the final batter he faced after his 7 innings were complete. And in line for his 2nd victory of the season. Now 2-1. Now 2-2 after that one blowing by him.
Not too much subtlety right now.
It's kind of a one-trick pony, Nicasio, right now, but it's a good trick. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Worth not being held on at first. Right underneath it.
Another fastball.
And another out. The Pirates an out away from victory. And the Zimmerman and Harper tonight 0 for 8. Only one other time all year have they been held hitless together, back on April 15th.
Very
a month
taxing,
ago.
very taxing day.
Yes. Tony Watson just in case. Pirates lead 6-1 in the 9th. The Parrot ready. Murphy 1 for 3 tonight. Singled his last time. Strike 1.
This is being extra careful having Tony Watson getting ready with his 5-run lead and 2 outs, but never know. Maybe just getting some work in, Tony Watson.
Yeah, one swing of the bat would make it a save situation. And
well, I didn't realize he hadn't thrown in 3 days, so yeah, I'm just.
Clint Hurdle likes to pitch to the save situation, or manage the save situation. Sometimes we've seen Watson, Melancon come in 4 5-run leads. If it's officially a save situation.
Yeah.
Not a save situation mid-inning, I beg your pardon, unless the tying run comes up.
All right.
Garrett Cole very good tonight. 1 run over 7 innings.
Yep, you contain the Washington band of renegades.
Wherever their rotundas. A strike away from victory. '97 from Nicasio.
Well, if the majority rules, that would have been called strike 3 from the thousands of fans that called that a strike. Doesn't work that way in baseball. Put a lid on it.
Fouled away. Well, remember, this is not the same scenario, but Murphy, as you reminded us before, Steve, in that 18-inning game, Pirates were a strike away from winning. He had a game-tying home run off Melancon.
But now if he does it 6-3.
Wouldn't be much of a difference maker. Always a tough out. Spoiling another at 97.
Well, you know, if you know what's coming every pitch, it increases your chances.
I don't think he's thrown a slider since Worth walked. Many standing here tonight. 2-2. Foul ball. '26 pitch inning for Nicasio. Hot night.
Some innings it's just not easy.
Contemplating not what to throw, but where to throw it. The 8th pitch of the at-bat coming. Another 2-2. Spoiled another fastball.
It's foul ball souvenir night here at PNC Park.
Something like 20 or 21 straight fastballs here.
Now the people have been standing waiting for the last out, are getting tired of standing. Someone's sitting back down again.
Some can't stand yet.
Parrott anxiously waiting.
He'll try another 2-2.
There you are.
Up toward Frazier. And down go the Nationals. The Pirates with their bats and some stellar pitching tonight. They even this series with a convincing 6-1 win over these first place Nationals.
Pitching, offense, and defense. Pretty good recipe. That's what the Pirates had tonight.
Just like you wanted.
Yeah. You'll win most games when you have good pitching, good defense, and you score 6 runs. You should win most of them.
And the Pirates do.
A good, satisfying win.
Yeah, they find themselves now 17-23. They've evened the series, a chance for a series victory tomorrow at noon against these Nationals. McCutchen with 2 hits today, 2 RBIs. And the Pirates celebrate the victory over Jacob Turner and the Washington Nationals. And it's time now for Pirates postgame, and let's go to Robin Teague.